Well, hello guys, and welcome to another episode of Kerbal Space Program. This episode with our friend Caesar Kerman, who looks pretty scared and excited and a little different, and there's a reason for that. He's taken this ship right here, which is a refueling ship, and has brought it up to one of our new prototype ships, which we're going to be flying this episode. And it's quite a ship. It's right about here. So kind of large. In fact, it's actually a prototype naval carrier, sort of in the same style as the capital ships from Mace Dean's work. Clearly not as elegant or as impressive as his, but I was inspired by his work and wanted to give it a try. So I have actually built a capital ship, successfully launched it and got into orbit, launched several refueling ships, which you see docked to the outer side of this ship, and I've been stocking it with fuel, RCS, and crew members. The goal for this is to be a sort of support carrier that could house sorry, a little bit difficult to actually get down in here. A support carrier that could house a few fighters, as well as refuel those fighters in case of emergency in battle, stuff like that. I still haven't made the fighters that will go in it, but I wanted to make the carrier first, so I would have a good idea of the dimensions of that. So we're going to go ahead and board, and you can see we have Bob, Tom Free, Caesar, Kurt, Kerman all here. Of course, we do need to go get Jebediah at some point, because what would a mission in Kerbal Space Program be without Jebediah? But that being said, this episode is going to be doing some diagnostics on this. But first, we are going to go ahead and get rid of these. Well, I'm going to go ahead and quick save first before anything bad happens, and that's done. So we're going to go ahead and lose these. So decouple that, and that, and then undock these. We kind of want to separate them out there. Again, the idea being that we don't want to have all this stuff right next to us. So we're going to go ahead and run some diagnostics. Now, as you can imagine, this ship is not exactly the easiest to maneuver. We only have a few little RCS ports, so I'm going to start to gently move it, and we can time accelerate to get out of the way of this, get that debris out of our way. And the first set of diagnostics is just going to do a quick save. Actually, no, I'll leave the quick save with all the stuff attached in case we need to change it. But we're going to go ahead and move prograde and see how far we can go. And then we'll revert back to the quick save after that. Well, yeah, we'll do that. So this is going to be sort of a fake run, if you will, of what exactly would happen if we tried to get this ship to go as far as it would go. Now, we're not going to aim for any... No. Let's see if we can do this without knocking off our solar panels, which looks like that might... we're in danger of doing. Okay. Nope, I don't think we've knocked it off. Alright, and we are upside down here. Let's go ahead and look at the cockpit view. So this is, I think, Bob's or Bill's view. So we have spares, apparently. But a very cool view here. You could imagine seeing ships come in from this viewpoint. And we're going to go ahead and see how far of range the ship has. It has 16 of the standard fuel tanks for a total of 5,800 fuel. As far as other specs, it does have 3 of these atomic engines. It only has maybe 4, 8, 9, 10, 12 RCS ports, which is maybe not enough, but this is our prototype again, so I'm going to try to get this on, and we're going to go full steam. And as you can see, there's going to be some lag here as well, which you would expect with such a massive ship. I don't know the exact part count. I know the launch part count was fairly high, somewhere along the lines of, I think it was like 700 parts, but a lot of those parts were again struts and stuff that fell off with the earlier stages. Now, this is going to take a while to fly here, so I might cut forward to the better parts, but well, I'm tempted to do physical time acceleration, but I'm a little bit nervous about that as well. I think this is a pretty ship, though. I haven't come up with a name for it yet. Actually, its current name is Keep Working on This One, as far as my carrier things. And I named it the subtype Struts because I finally figured out my problem with the launching mechanism was I didn't have enough struts. There was a deficit of struts. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and risk it since we already quick saved anyways and try some physical time acceleration and see if things fall completely apart. It looks like they're going to. It makes me nervous. It makes me very nervous to use physical time acceleration on anything that's large like this because it just wreaks havoc with the physics, really. Now, as you can see, our acceleration is slow. It's very, very slow. But we also have all of this fuel. So we could probably just leave this running for, you know, a long time. Okay, the time acceleration is not working. It's just scaring me. And so, as far as orbit, you can see Jebediah's out here. This is not actually on my regular save file. This is my, you know, research and development testing one because I don't want anything that happens in this to be, you know, full-term legitimate. So consider this more of a almost like a computerized simulation, if you will, that's being run. So not even happening in my Kerbal universe so much. And again, some things that we need to work on. We need some more lights. We have a couple here on the sides, and those are cool, but they're not bright enough really for everything. We need some more lighting on the inside of the ship. Maybe 4 lights, maybe 1, 2, yeah, a couple here and there to get things. No, not too bright, but nice, gentle lighting. And so this is going to take a while, so I'm actually going to cut forward to once we run out of fuel and see how far we've gone into the universe. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back, and we are on trajectory to Jool. So we actually have quite a bit of range with this ship. Currently we're actually on a very low trajectory towards Jool. So if you look on the map here, we're aimed to slingshot around the planet itself, going down to a little bit underneath 600 kilometers, and then heading straight towards Lathe, actually. If you look, this is Lathe, where it'll be at about 1 or 2 more orbits around by the time we get there, I think. Yeah, 13 hours from now, so however long Lathe takes to orbit. Actually, if you look, we actually are technically crashing into Lathe right now, although when I set this up, we were only coming in just a little bit above Lathe's surface. Now, we only have one shot at this, though, to see if we can actually make a stable orbit around here, because again our quick save was back at Kerbin, and I don't want to do another quick save here because I have other, you know, little diagnostic tests on this ship that I want to do to see its qualities and traits and learn more about it, so I can, you know, improve the next prototype design. It has a very weird look to it now that I'm looking at it. It kind of reminds me of like a stingray, manta ray kind of thing, or maybe one of those whale sharks, if you're familiar with those, with the kind of the square mouth there almost. But yeah, let's go ahead and get down closer to going a little too fast there. So we're gonna get fairly close to Tylo here, so let's go ahead and okay, we're technically in Tylo's orbit right now, so hopefully that won't mess up our orbit too much, but that is kind of cool to see. I think this is one of the first times I've actually been in the Jool system, maybe once or twice other times. So let's go ahead and very gently warp through this. Okay, and okay. All right, now that changed that gravity changed our periapsis here. So we're going to go ahead and try to add a little maneuver here, and oh, maybe not, and try to correct this, because otherwise, okay, let's try this again. Okay, and how much is that going to take? Crap, that might be more delta V than we have. Well, we might not be able to get it, guys. I'm going to try. I don't think I have 100 delta V. I think I have more like 40, unfortunately. Yeah, because that's putting us out much further than anticipated, unfortunately. Well, let's try this though. Let's, instead of doing that, what happens if right here we do a maneuver with Lathe as our target? Again, I think our inclination's not bad. Well, that's already 100 there, and that's not doing us any good. Yeah, so this is the problem with trusting your calculations. Well, that's even worse. So I guess that's the problem with... What about if we just slow down? If we just simply slow down, that's still 200. So, well, actually, what if we slow down closer to the periapsis? Well, yeah, we're not going to probably be able to catch it. The only thing I can think is maybe if we can get our periapsis down lower. Again, this is the problem with trusting the estimates that the computer makes for you, especially when you're on such low fuel. Alrighty. So that puts us fairly low in Joule's orbit. I don't want to go too low in there. It's going to slow us down an awful lot, though. And it's still more fuel than we have. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in that direction, and we're just going to fire everything we have. Okay, guys? Let's try that. This is probably an awful idea. Let me make a new node, just to make sure there's nothing else in there. And there we go. So that's the direction. And I might have to cut out for a second. My dogs look like they're about to bark at something, so if you see a little lapse in frames, that's what it is, although they're just cautiously staring at the door right now. I do love having this ship out here next to Joule, though. It is pretty. A few things I'm going to tweak on this, so I'm going to add more lights to it, and also with the engines, these three little engines are just, they're efficient, but they're so slow, so annoying. And I think I might, up the number of engines to 5 or maybe even 7. I'll figure out some way to do that. Also, I'm willing to take any feedback you guys have. This is kind of a big blocky ship. If you don't like the way it looks, or if there's a feature you'd like to see on it, again, now's a great time to give me feedback, because I am in the process of redesigning it. I am going to sort of cheat by using time acceleration here. And we are pointed in the direction right now, so we're going to go ahead and drop that. That's going to start bringing our periapsis down. Hopefully a little bit more. You can see we're getting pretty low on fuel, unfortunately. It's probably only going to be enough just to get a nice low pass over Joule, but not enough to get a capture or anything, because the Joule's atmosphere, I think, only goes... Oh, we technically got a encounter there, albeit quite high. Maybe we can... I got Lathe down to... So periapsis here. Okay, so we're still doing okay. Still... So close. You know what? I'm going to use some RCS, and that's just kind of ridiculous. It's going to push us down the last little bit, maybe? No, it's not even going to be close. So we have 49, 44 RCS. I mean, you can see those pitiful little things trying to push us closer into Lathe's orbit, but we're just not going to make it. No luck there. And we're also starting to shift. So let's use up the last little bit of fuel there to get as close as we can, at least. If it wasn't for Tylo screwing up our plans, we would have had a nice possible Lathe encounter. But we'll get a nice low encounter with Lathe, with Joule, and then a high encounter with Lathe. But hey, that means that we have quite a bit of range on this, and if I could fly it a bit better, we would, let's throttle down and get a little bit closer to Jewel. I'm going to watch from the map here. Got an hour. Alright, and so we're heading down towards Jewel. When we get a good spot right around here, I'm going to turn the ship around and try and see if I can't get a good screenshot for a, what's it called? Wow, it's late. For a thumbnail. Yes, one of those things. Yes, so that's what tends to happen. But, you know, nice shot where we're kind of well lit by the sun and have Jewel there. Would be nice to be facing the correct direction, though. And I think I want to have Jewel on the right-hand side of things. And see if we can't gently twist this behemoth around. Turning, especially with no RCS, no control whatsoever. Even if we were able to air brake at this point into Lathe, we would, unfortunately, we would just end up crashing because we wouldn't be able to circularize our orbit afterwards. So Bob and Tom Free and Caesar would all either die crashing into Lathe or would have to, oh, this is taking a long time to turn around. So another design change, I'm going to add more RCS. Probably more ports, but especially more just RCS fuel in general. So now we've built up a little bit of, you know, momentum there. I might also cheat to get this to slow down once we're in the correct position. I kind of want to get it in profile if I can. And let's see. Yeah, what do you guys think? I think that looks kind of cool. I mean, again, not the prettiest ship ever, but it looks so blocky from this angle, though. Well, largely because it is very blocky. Trying to get a good angle here. I think, yeah, let's twist it around this way. And I don't know. Do you guys know if there's a good way to? We'll just do this. So I'm gonna later go back and use this as our screenshot. One of these, probably right about there. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So we'll use one of those for our thumbnail. Okay. Well, enough of that. Let's go ahead and pass on by Jewel slowly but surely. Gonna come down, not quite below. Not quite below, wow. Oh, actually, are we going to go below? Yeah, we're going to go below, no, we're not going to go below 1,000 kilometers. Just too bad. Yeah, but hey, there's Lathe, our desired destination that we are sadly not going to catch in time. Perhaps if I'd use my fuel more efficiently, we could have had a good encounter, but instead we're just going to pass by Lathe. Oh. Yeah. So we're technically around Lathe, but not obviously able to orbit. And it looks like from here we're just going to go back out into deep space, which is not desirable. It would be very hard at this point to get back. Let's see if we can see what he's up to. It'd be very hard to get back if you try to meet up with another ship in deep space. It's not very pleasant. So what I'm going to do is, again, this is not, you know, I think the ship looks much cooler from this view. You know what? Maybe from right around here I can use a screenshot from that. That I think is much better. Yeah, something along these lines. So what I'm going to try to do with Bob here is get actually in a Lathe orbit. The reasoning being, again, we're going to shoot towards Jewel. Okay, so perpendicular to Lathe, sort of. The idea being that if we can get him into orbit by himself, that it would be easier to rescue him that way, although theoretically he'd be in a spacesuit by himself in space for, years before the next ship could get out of here. But if we can do that with him, then it would be easier to capture each one of them individually that way than the whole ship. Although I don't know how to see what his orbit is. Unless that is his orbit. I don't know if he has enough delta V for himself to actually slow down. Especially since I don't have very good markers of where he's actually pointing towards. Be interesting to see. But he is using up his fuel slowly but steadily. We're going to use some time acceleration here. Because why not? He's not a massive structure that's going to fall apart. Certainly. Alright, so down to half of his RCS. Still looks like no change, so continue flying towards Joule, trying to slow down. Probably all in vain. Probably just means he's going to be stranded in deep space by himself. Which is probably not a very desirable scenario for poor Bob here. I guess I could have tried aerobraking Bob through Lathe by getting him off the ship earlier. Didn't think about that. So let's see where he's going to go. Yeah, pretty much the same route as the ship. So that's no good. He's a goner. It seems like. Oh, okay, that's going to give me very dizzy. So there's Bob Kerbal goes, and our ship as well. Fortunately, we do have a quick save, so I'm going to go ahead and load that. And magically, we're going to be transported back, hopefully, to our ship as it was before it made its 3-year-long journey. Yes, there we go. See, keep working on this one with struts. And I'm going to undock these and do one more test, which I will do off screen, and I will bring you guys back if this, well, whether it's a success or an abysmal failure, doesn't really matter, because it'll be certainly interesting. So I'll be right back, guys. Thanks.